Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies. A little breaking news here. Foster Moreau will sign with the Saints. We all kind of knew this was coming. He came on a visit to the Saints this summer, maybe about a month ago before the draft. Was diagnosed with that cancer. Obviously, that seems like, the results are coming back well on that. So he will end up signing with the Saints on a 3-year, $12 million deal. $8 million guaranteed. And for everybody, that's just a 2-year, $8 million deal, if we're being honest. $4 million per year. That's a really, really good steal from the Saints. A guy that's probably going to come into that backup tight end role behind Juwan Johnson, or maybe compete for the starting job. Remember, Juwan Johnson signed for 2 years, $12 million, $8 million guaranteed this past offseason as well. So you got two tight ends with about $8 million guaranteed per person, and it's a really solid tight end group now. Juwan Johnson by himself, he's cool. He's cool, but now you add Foster Moreau, who's used to being a backup. He's used to being a backup tight end, so he doesn't have to worry about that. He's backed up Darren Waller with the Raiders. Now he could come in and fulfill that role with the Saints as well, or like I said, compete for a starting job. I think it's going to be a mix and match type thing anyway. It doesn't really matter who starts. I think they'll split snaps. And just play to both of their strengths. So that's definitely going to be a good thing for Derek Carr. And for Derek Carr, man, if you sign a quarterback to as much money as the Saints signed a quarterback to, you better make sure he's comfortable. So bringing in a former player, a former teammate of his, that's a good sign already. Getting him weapons, drafted a running back, restructured Michael Thomas, brought him back. You still got Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave in the game. You reshored up that offensive line in the draft with some depth pieces, and the starter that's back should be good. So Foster Moreau, back to him, man. He had 33 catches last year, 420 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. That was a career high in catches. He backed up Darren Waller, like I said. Darren Waller was out for some games, and when Darren Waller was out, Foster Moreau played pretty well at the starting tight end. So he, does have that versatility to play a backup role and also be a starter. So with that capability of him and Juwan Johnson, them being interchangeable, I think that's really going to help the Saints offense to have 2 receiving threats at tight end. Obviously, we traded Adam Trautman. That just didn't work out, man. Coming out, I think he was a 5th or a 6th round pick for the Saints, and that just never worked out. So we're moving on from him. Now we got Foster Moreau. We got Juwan Johnson. Moreau, this is interesting, man, because he definitely has some other offers. He had the Bengals offer on the table, and maybe he, had a bigger role with the Bengals, playing with Joe Burrow. I'm sure that was intriguing for him, but he decides to come home. He is from New Orleans, went to Jesuit High School in New Orleans. So that's really good. We got a guy to stay home. He's with his former quarterback. I'm sure that helped. And, man, shout out to Dennis Allen. The one thing we've done in free agency since Dennis Allen has taken over is we've gotten guys. I'll give him that. From Tyrann Mathieu to whoever you want to name, Marcus May, we've gotten guys in free agency, the guys that we've wanted to come here. So I can't blame him for that. We're getting the guys. We just have to produce on the field. And obviously, that's a different story for a different day. But free agency, offseason, hey, man, 10 out of 10. More on Foster Moreau was a 4th round pick in the 2019 draft. Been relatively healthy, his entire NFL career. Played 13 games as a rookie, 16 games after that, 17 games 2 seasons ago, and then 15 games last season. So he's been relatively healthy. He's been out there on the field. Rookie season had 21 catches, 174 yards, 5 touchdowns. After that, he had 7 catches, 140 yards. You had the emergence of Darren Waller. So, it just was what it was right there. Then 2 seasons ago, 30 catches, 373 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then last season, like I said, 33 catches, 420 yards, 2 touchdowns. In his career, 91 catches, 1,100 yards, and 12 touchdowns. That's just a solid tight end. Still a young guy, only 26 years old. So can bring a lot, to the Saints. This also brings versatility to the offense. Pete Carmichael, man, he has a lot of weapons, a lot of different moving parts. I can see the Saints offense doing so much. With that Taysom Hill package where you have, multiple tight ends with a running back or a fullback. Now you have Juwan Johnson and Foster Moreau. Maybe you could put Olave, Rashid Shaheed on the outside, in that Taysom package. So now you can come out in heavy packages with 2 tight ends who still have deep threats. So you really can't stack the box, against, the Taysom package if you got Olave and Shaheed on the outside, but you also got, some big guys on the inside. So that's going to give the defense trouble right there. Also, with just Derek Carr, we can finally run some single back sets with Moreau and Juwan Johnson on opposite sides, or maybe even on the same side, and get the running game going. Also, to be big off play action, have 2 tight ends. I won't call Moreau a mismatch, more like Juwan Johnson is, but he's a really good receiving tight end. So Pete Carmichael, man, get in the lab. You can do so much with these weapons on this team. Like I said, Alvin Kamara, We got Jamal Williams, who I just forgot about as I was making this video, Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, A.T. Perry. I'm not going to throw him in that group yet, but I do like what I see on film from him already. We got some undrafted guys that might make some noise. They signed Braylon Edwards. It's just a lot of weapons. It's a lot of pieces. It's going to be tough to make this team on the offensive side of the ball. Let me get that out the way right now. It's going to be very, very tough to make this team, especially at the receiver position. Running back is basically already wrapped up with those three guys. Quarterback position, extremely tough. We got 3.5 guys. I'm counting Taysom as a half a guy because you never know what he's going to do. But that tight end group, if you want to throw Taysom in there, you get Taysom, Foster Moreau, Foster Moreau and Juwan Johnson. That's a really, really good, trio of tight ends. Also, this helps Taysom Hill. Maybe he won't play as much tight end. Maybe, we have him, at quarterback a little more, maybe running back a little more, maybe tight end a little more. Who knows? But it gives you versatility. The man that Taysom just adds basically, another weapon to each room. He has a weapon to the quarterback room. He has a weapon to the running back room. He has a weapon to the tight end room. And he also adds a weapon to the special teams room. So Taysom is still going to be a big part of this offense. But having another tight end that's an actual tight end is definitely going to help the Saints out a lot. Also, the schedule is coming. I will do a schedule video when the full schedule is released. I don't think we have a overseas game this year, so that's good just for scheduling purposes. Don't want to have to go to overseas game after you just played. It's just a terrible conflict when in regards to scheduling. I think we played Minnesota over there last year. That's when Winston was hurt, didn't play. Dalton took over and never gave the job back. So let's just not go overseas this year. That'll be good. But I'm definitely gonna do a schedule breakdown once that is released. We already got the opponents. We just need to see when we play who and things like that. But I'm happy for this signing. I really, really like this signing from the Saints. Credit to Dennis Allen, Mickey Loomis, like I said, Pete Carmichael, man, it's your time to shine. They went to get you a quarterback. They re-signed Michael Thomas or restructure, whatever you want to call it. The offensive line is pretty good. Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams, Kendre Miller. You got some receivers as well. Olave is going to be in year 2. You got 2 tight ends, 2 receiving threat tight ends as well. The sky's the limit for this offense. The defense, I expect the defense to be pretty good. That defensive front, they're going to have to, show me. Obviously, that's been a catalyst for the Saints defense for a long time. It's been that defensive front. But last year, they were pretty bad. And our defense was still good. So we're going to see what that defense looks like. But the offense, sky is the limit. And Foster Moreau, re-signing Juwan Johnson. Let me know what y'all think about this sign in the comments below, man. As always, this is the Boo Tragedies. And I'm out.